day a big black SUV came riding from the west. The driver was from Kansas, wore a sheriff's badge on his chest. His truck was filled with amps and cables, mics and pedals too. He was there to do the setup job that no one else would do. His voyage had been hard and he was bald from all the strife. On his shoulder was a bass guitar he'd stolen from his wife. From Soggy Poe to Song Son, all the cowpokes knew his game. That multitasking manager, Marshal Miller, was his name. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi stick. Marshal Miller knew how to pick guitar strings. Marshal Miller was a well-known player in all of the saloons. From the playhouse to the factory, he jammed on all the tunes. He'd show them all a thing or two. There was just one guy to top, a single drunken ajoshi, yelling S-T-O-P stop. EJ, come on! Sean gathered up his posse and he geared up for a fight. The schoolmarm sighed and grabbed his arms, but old recoiled in fright. When all at once came through the swinging doors the ajoshi, saying, I'll see you at a high noon at the Yongdam Rotary. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi, clown. There's gonna be a showdown. High noon, Yongdam Rotary. The tumbleweeds were rolling by. They'd been rented from Holling Park for the occasion. Marshal Miller stood with arms akimbo outside the general store, which was a GS-25. And then the ajoshi walked out into the street. All the hipsters ran for cover. A shot rang out. Graham ordered a shot. Big J ordered a White Russian. Russ lost his jacket. Giuseppe took out his camera and Troy started taking bets. So much for the posse. Marshal Miller took 2 steps forward. The ajoshi took 2 steps forward. He yelled, draw! And they both drew, and they were about to start shooting when all of a sudden a tour bus full of Chinese tourists came tearing around the corner and knocked them both to the sidewalk. They were in the middle of a city intersection. What'd you expect? The diversion gave Marshal Miller the precious seconds he needed to blow the ajoshi's 6-shooter out of his hand. The ajoshi fell to his knees and cried, have mercy, Marshal Miller, have mercy! Don't leave me for magpie fodder! And Marshal Miller walked over to the ajoshi, gave him a sheriff's badge, and said, you're in charge now. I'm getting the hell back to Dodge. The ajoshi took up the sheriff's badge and changed his ways, by which I mean he started drinking even more. He deputized another perpetually inebriated friend of his, and together they became known as Butch Cass and the Soju Kid. Marshal Miller rode off into the sunset until he realized he was on an island and he had to fly to get back to Kansas. He may be gone, but the legend lives on and inspires people to this day. So beware, you no good varmints, all mustachioed and vile. You've had it, call it quits, and get your backsides off our aisle. This town ain't big enough for you, so take the next stagecoach. This here is Marshal Miller land, and we'll crush you like a roach. Yippee-yi-yay!